Rangers are pushing hard for a midfield sensation to replace Diomande, and it could be a game changer. A forgotten forward refuses an Ibrox return despite rotting on the bench in Spain. Contract drama unfolds as John Souttar edges closer to a new deal, but time is ticking. Chris Boyd hails Tavernier as the standout star, while Naismith dares to question his leadership. Sparks are flying, and hold on tight because a lightning-fast winger from Kazakhstan could be the shock signing of the window. You don't want to miss a second of this. It's all kicking off. The January window's just round the corner, and Rangers are already making moves. Word is a bid's already been tabled for Galymzhan Kenzhebek, the rapid left winger lighting it up for Yelimay in Kazakhstan. And that might sound a bit out the blue, but let's be honest, some of the so-called safe signings from the big leagues haven't exactly set Ibrox on fire, have they? Now, Danny rolls in a position to finally shape his own squad. After inheriting a shambles left by Russell Martin, a man who only managed 5 wins from 17 and looked more lost than a tourist on Sochi Hall Street, and with Kevin Thelwell now out the door, it's Roll's chance to put his stamp on things. When you look at our current options on the wing, it's slim pickings. Mikey Moore's been a bright spot, 2 goals in his last 2 matches, but behind him, the drop in quality is steep. JD Gassama, who started with a bit of promise, has completely faded. 1 goal and 1 assist in 15 league matches. That's just not cutting it. Rangers should be challenging for titles, not hoping a winger might eventually find a bit of form. Enter Kenzhebek, 22 years old, described as very pacey, and already with 6 goals and 4 assists in just 11 appearances this season. That's a goal every 162 minutes. Compare that to Gassama, who needs over 1,100 minutes to hit the back of the net. The Kazakh winger also brings more creativity, with nearly double the key passes and over 4 times the successful dribbles per game. He's not just doing it in club football either. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in World Cup qualifiers for Kazakhstan. So the lad's shown he can deliver under pressure, not just in the domestic scene, but internationally as well. And here's the kicker. His contract's up at the end of the month. That means Rangers could bring him in for nothing. Free transfer, no transfer fee. It's the sort of deal that could go from under the radar to masterstroke if he clicks at Ibrox. There's always risk bringing in a player from a lesser-known league. But when the upside is this high and the cost is next to nothing, is it not a gamble worth taking? If Gassama can't even outshine a winger from Kazakhstan, what exactly are we doing still giving him starts at Ibrox? You know, it's rare in football that a fullback divides opinion the way James Tavernier does, but here we are yet again. On one hand, you've got Chris Boyd singing his praises, calling him the best player of the season so far. And to be fair, with 7 goals already and some truly vital moments, including that strike against Braga that put him level with Ali McCoist in European goals, it's hard to argue with the numbers. But then you've got Stephen Naismith throwing a spanner in the works, claiming Rangers are still crying out for a proper leader, somebody to take the game by the scruff and drag the whole team forward. And leadership's not always about goals and assists, but let's not pretend Tavernier's been hiding. 542 appearances, 137 goals, 124 assists for a right-back. That's not just impressive, that's historic. Now, it's true that defensively he's had wobbles, especially during the Russell Martin debacle, but who didn't? That wasn't leadership failure. That was a squad playing without confidence, direction, or belief. Tavernier still showed up, put the team on his back, and got them through some grim afternoons. And let's not forget, he's been here through thick and thin. The 2021 title charge under Gerrard, that magical Europa League run under Van Bronckhorst. He's been the one constant while managers have come and gone and squads have been gutted and rebuilt. But here's the thing, his contract's up in the summer, and if this really is his final season in a Rangers shirt, you better believe Ibrox will feel that loss deep. We're not just talking about replacing a right back, we're talking about replacing a player who's dragged this club through years of turmoil and delivered in the biggest moments. So here's what I want to know. If Tavernier really isn't seen as the leader this team needs, then who exactly is? Or are some folk just too quick to forget what he's done every time the defense concedes a corner? There's movement behind the scenes at Ibrox, and this time it's John Souttar who could be next to put pen to paper. With just 6 months left on his current deal, Rangers are stepping up efforts to secure the big man's future with a new contract. Talks have been ongoing for months, and now there's a 2-year offer on the table, complete with a hefty wage bump. And look, despite being out injured just now after pulling up in the warm-up before Scotland's 4-2 win over Denmark, Souttar has been a solid presence in that backline since joining from Hearts back in 2022. Over 75 league games under his belt, he's been one of the few dependable defensive options in what's been, at times, a shaky rearguard, especially when you've had players in and out the squad like a revolving door. Keeping hold of someone who's proven he can handle the pressure at Ibrox makes a lot of sense. What's more, with the World Cup coming next summer, Scotland in Group C, with Haiti, Morocco and Brazil, Souttar's still in the running for Steve Clarke's squad if he returns fit. So locking him down now avoids any nonsense come January, when clubs from outside Scotland could legally swoop in with pre-contract offers. And while Souttar edges closer to a fresh deal, another story's brewing abroad, one that'll make you scratch your head. Oscar Cortes, the forgotten man, shipped out to Sporting Gijón in Spain's second tier, and it's been an absolute non-event for the Colombian. He's started just once since arriving, yet he's now come out publicly to deny reports that he wants to cut the loan short and return to Ibrox. He says his focus is there, he wants to work harder, and he's not considering coming back. Now, let's not kid ourselves. This was a lad signed with big hopes, quick, tricky, exciting on paper. But the reality was constant injury setbacks and no real contribution. And now he's choosing to ride the bench in Spain instead of fighting for a return and proving himself where it matters. So here's the million-pound question for you. Should Rangers even bother keeping Oscar Cortes beyond this loan, or is it time to cut ties completely with a player who's shown more interest in warming benches than fighting for a jersey at Ibrox? Now, this is the kind of move that makes you sit up and pay attention. Rangers are making a serious push to land Kilmarnock's David Watson in January. And let me tell you, this is no panic signing. This would be a statement. With Danny Roll about to dip into the market for the first time since taking the reins, there's no doubt the German will be desperate to mold a squad that actually reflects his footballing identity. So far, he's had to work with whatever scraps were left behind from previous regimes, and despite that, he's taken 5 wins from 7 in the league. Imagine what he could do with players he actually wants. Watson isn't just some raw talent being plucked for potential. He's already doing the business in the Premiership. 3 goals, 2 big chances created, and dominating both on and off the ball. Described as a box-crashing, goal-scoring midfielder, the lad's been running the show at Rugby Park, and at only 20 years old, there's still bags of development ahead. Let's not beat around the bush here. This would be a clear upgrade on Diomande, especially with the Ivorian heading off to the African Cup of Nations. In fact, even with Diomande here, Watson's stats blow him out the water. More goals, more chances created, more duels won, higher tackle and interception rate. And this is someone Rangers could snap up for a fraction of what they paid for Diomande. That's smart business. And while Lazio and Celtic are apparently sniffing about, you'd like to think Rangers would have the edge. Watson's already proven himself in the Premiership. He knows what it means to play under pressure. And if he wants to take that next step, Ibrox is the place to do it. You can't tell me running out in front of a packed Govan stand, chasing silverware, doesn't beat slogging it out in Serie A or playing second fiddle in the East End. Here's the real kicker. Diomande was the subject of a £6.5 million bid from Besiktas in the summer. But if Watson's outperforming him in nearly every metric and you can get him in for a cut price fee due to his expiring contract, shouldn't Rangers be building the midfield around the Scottish lad instead? So, here's the question for you. If Watson comes in and proves to be the better player, should Rangers cash in on Diomande next summer while his stock's still high? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and drop a like to support the channel. I bring you Rangers news every day, so if you've not subscribed yet, you're missing out. See you in the next one.